Hello everyone and welcome to RaceRoom, and today we'll be using the Audi TT RS Cup car around Lausitz to set your best lap time, and it's a small competition, it's free to enter. This time around I decided to take a few laps out on the track before I pressed record, hence why I am at 621. But this first lap will just be a guide of the track. It's the inner side of a huge oval track. So you start off at the front grid as any normal race would, but instead of keep going around the track like a NASCAR, so you actually brake and turn into the infield of the track with this sharp hairpin to the left, and then easy on the power out of the corner into a few more turns here that you can pretty much take half gas into another small kind of braking area. I like to use second gear, but you can also use third, and it's back onto the other side of the track after two hairpins there. The track is a combination of the infield and the outfield of the entire track, so that's pretty cool. Now here you just come in for this hairpin turn in. You can go down the first gear if you wanted to, but I wouldn't recommend it. Then you can pretty much take fourth almost flat out, just gotta wait till you see the exit of the turn, and then you can get on the power as early as you can. And from here it's a slightly long straight into corner 10 here. You can get on the brakes a lot later than I did here, and I would recommend second gear since it's a slightly tighter corner, but you can try third with your luck. And here in turn 11 is a flat out corner. Now turn 12, you gotta brake into second gear, turn the car on, get on the power, and then slam right back on the brakes to keep a tight line and get on the power as early as you can, as this is one of the longest straights on this track, and that is a full lap around this circuit. And I do believe on that practice lap I just showed, we did manage to improve our time slightly. We're now under the top 600. As we're going to take a slightly more aggressive line into corner 1, a little bit harder onto the brakes so I can take the corner entry a little bit faster. Now we unfortunately did lose some time to our old Ghost, but we managed to get it right back on corner exits here. As you can see, the Ghost is taking a much wider line than we are here. Now I'm going to use second gear and get on the power as early as possible. You don't really have to worry that much about traction with this car as long as you don't spin it into a corner. And unfortunately I still don't know the exact braking point for this hairpin we just went to, but now I believe we are on the way to corner 19 here as we take the inside line. And then you want to try to use a little bit of AstroTurf on the side. You can use as much as you want, but it all depends on how fast you exit that last corner. And then here you can brake at about the green turf if you have the ability to turn in when you need to. And again, feel free to use third gear on the exit of this corner, but I like to use second since I feel it gives me a quicker exit. Now again, back down to second gear. You'll use this gear a lot during most of the inner parts of the circuit. And here you can go full gas, just don't hit the wall, as it's very hard to do in this car, in fact, since there's not really that much power while you're turning in. But we also did manage to improve our lap time again. So that's 544 all the way down to 530, which is pretty good. Hopefully we can get under the top 400 as I braked super late. Decided to try a different approach to corner 1. We did use some of the outside AstroTurf here, but I do think we managed to gain some time on our last Ghost. And now coming up to corner 5, we're going to get hard on the brakes, try to get on the gas just slightly earlier than we did before last lap. And it has managed to help us as we're pulling away from the Ghost, and I decided to try to see how close I could get to the wall and maybe increase or decrease the braking distance depending on how you approach it for the hairpin there. Now we are on turn 9, just trying to take the best exit as we can. You can also use third gear for this corner, but you will get a slightly slower exit than using fourth, but maybe it will be a cleaner corner. As we come up to turn 10 here, we brake just a little bit later than last lap. Turn in, decide to use third here to see if I could gain some time using it. And I think I might have gained slight amount of time. Now, we did get late on the brakes here, and unfortunately that has hindered our entrance to the front stretch here. I'm just going to try to make up as much time as we can by getting on the gas earlier than we did last lap. And if we look in the rear view mirror, we can see the Ghost is far behind from us, meaning we have improved a lot. So maybe we can get into the 400s, and we have. Now here is a few laps later where I decided to come back again with a new thought in mind of how to take this track just slightly faster, combine everything I've learned so far, put in a few more good laps, and hopefully I can get a result here. As here, after a few practice laps, I have actually cracked the top 400, and maybe I can even get into the top 200 if I am lucky. Now coming into corner 1, I'm going to get on the brakes slightly too early as I overestimated where the corner was, but I do put it down to second gear, and that does help us on the exit as we're actually gaining a lot of time to our Ghost. And I'm going to go a little bit wide into the next turn. Now for turn 5, well, this is turn 5 here, I'm going to try to take a tighter line and just hold the gas down throughout that entire corner. And we have still unfortunately lost time, but I have decided to take this hairpin slightly inward on the corner to try to make up that little bit of time we did lose. And it has helped me coming out of turn 9 now. As you can see, 4th gear is just pulling me along, and the Ghost is actually far behind right now. And there are sections of the track that you have to sacrifice to be faster in other sections. And it's just choosing what to sacrifice and what not to sacrifice is where you can gain the best lap time possible. Now we're going to get hard onto the brakes, shift down a little bit later. We go a little bit wide, but that allows us to keep up more momentum coming into the last turn of this track. And we can get on the power just that slightly earlier. And we're now coming down to the front stretch, I believe ahead of our Ghost here. But unfortunately, even though we are ahead of our Ghost, it won't be that big of an improvement, so I decided to go to another lap, and that just so happened to be my fastest lap I could do. So coming into turn 1, I ran a little bit different line. I didn't exactly go on the green, but I took corner 1 super fast in my opinion. Now we do use a little bit of grass to help us get around the track, and then hard onto the brakes. And now coming down to the backstretch, I would call it, we get a pretty decent exit as we're going to stick close to the wall, then turn in, and then hard onto the brakes down into second gear, turn in, and now we're going to come up to turn 9, and we're just going to try to hold as much power as we can throughout this entire section. As you can see, the Ghost is perfectly behind us. In fact, there's about a car's length between us. Now coming down to turn 10, we brake a lot later than I thought I should. We're going to leave it in second gear on the entrance of the corner, and as we exit, we're going to immediately shift back up to third. And I do think that helps you get a better exit, but I'm not fully sure as we're shifting it down to second using the AstroTurf on the inside, and then again swinging the car back to the other side of the track. And we're just going to use as much power as we can. And as I said before, this was my best lap, so we will see where it lands me, as there's about 2 cars length behind my previous Ghost, and that lands us in 366, which is in the top 400 of the world, and I'd say that's pretty satisfying for what it is. Now let's go ahead and check out the leaderboards. So first place managed to run a 1 minute 26 seconds. And in my fastest lap, I was able to run a 1 minute 31 seconds. It's just amazing how fast the leaders are in this game, but I do say with a little bit more time, maybe I can get slightly closer to them, maybe about 5 seconds or so off. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.